and owner operator of Islamic Wills Trusts. I personally ran into Yasir maybe a couple years ago. So he did my family trust as well. I can tell you from personal experience, for those who know, my father just passed away not too long ago. And we're going through a lot of challenges trying to get his estate in order. Going through probate court takes up to a year. So this is kind of an important subject. If you want to make it easy on your family, taking the time to set up a will, a trust, it's easy for them. So leave it up to him. We'll give us an introduction.
Thank you so much. And mashallah, Brother Mike is just an amazing person to deal with, and one of the best person and one of the best clients that we ever dealt with. And we are honored to serve his family.
I don't know. Recording? Is it recording?
Yeah, that's what we're going to have a recording. I'm going to share. Yeah, we can have them sign. Okay, we have certain questions concerning, mashallah, majority of us over here is about 55 plus age. So should we focus morely on the retirement and legacy planning, or just go on the Islamic perspective of Islamic estate planning?
Everything.
Everything?
Start from zero.
Start from zero. Okay. So basically, we're going to go through certain scenarios. What are the real life scenarios? Why Islamic state planning is important, and then we're going to have a legally why American state planning is important, and all the other scenarios. This is for information basis only. Do not beat me up after if there's any question. And second thing, please request if somebody have a personal question or concern or family oriented, we want to have a one-on-one question. We do not want to bring that into the whole community. Small information, short information for myself. My name is Yasir Zia. I've been in financial services since 2007. Lost my father in 2005. And luckily, he's a wali who was talking to us. It goes in our DNA. My first job was there. My father actually worked in Annapolis one and we managed. In 2005, he had a sudden brain hemorrhage and passed away at the age 45. So after a few years, one of his other friends died with sudden heart attack, and his oldest son was only 14 years old. So I started doing a research that why our community is not well prepared, and what we need, and how can we prepare for all the financial scenarios and the financial, protection for the family and therefore. So I started my career with financial planning and financial consultant in 2007. And then we have a lot of concern from our Muslim families and clients that we want to have estate planning according to Islamic laws, and we want to distribute our asset according to Quran and Sunnah. So we did a research for 2 years. We hired 2 attorneys, a couple scholars, and we, from 2011 to 2013, we researched how can we combine Islamic law with American law without having any complications on either side. So 2013, we had the first client on the Islamic Will, and alhamdulillah, since 2013, we've been providing Islamic state planning nationwide. Why we need Islamic state planning and why this topic is so important, we came across in our research in these hadiths that Prophet said, learn inheritance and teach it to others because it is a half of the knowledge. And the first knowledge will be taken away from the owner. And also there's a hadith that learn inheritance and teach it to other people, because this knowledge will decrease until 2 people will fight over their inheritance and they do not have anybody to help them guide through. So it's a very important subject that we're going to talk about according to Quran and Hadith and American law. So the whole concept, will your family be protected or left vulnerable? And so how can we protect? It's not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best protection, but any planning here, our goal is that the the concept of tying your camel's leg before letting it, throttle. So there's certain things that we have to do in order to have a legal and a state protection. Recently, last month actually, we got an email from brother in ISB. This brother, 35 years old, he was married to non-Muslim, had a 2-year-old son, passed away. His mom and dad was dependent on him. And he was going through our divorce proceeding, but as soon as he died, his wife said that there was no divorce. I want everything. So these cases arise so many times that we cannot do anything afterward, so we have to be prepared. And second thing, we do not know how long we have, until the death comes or when we are ready to go. All right, so why Islamic Estate Planning? This is a recent case we turned down. We had information. So this prospect had 4 daughters, and then the only beneficiaries are his 2 brothers, which Islamically is not acceptable. We cannot take your primary beneficiaries out of your inheritance, no matter what is the scenario or what is the family dispute. Brother Amr says, I don't know if anybody knows, he passed away last year in day after Eid. He went to his work, pharmacist, 48 years old, passed away after heart attack. We did their estate planning, but he failed to do his business succession planning. So business succession planning is how to transfer the business in case of the death happens. So luckily, we had the backup documents for him, and the whole probate was avoided. But the only issue was his business was delayed until his wife. It took him about 6 to, I think, 9 months before she was able to sell his business. So the main focus point is, what is a probate? What is estate planning? Who needs a estate plan? And what makes a planning Islamic? And components of estate planning who also have a question on it. If somebody have any concern in between, just stop me and just let me know, because I want to have a more interactive, more question-based, not just talking and anybody knows what is probate? Yes.
The probate is the court that is in every country.
Yes.
Where when someone passes away, all these finances, or let me say financial portfolio, except for like 2, will be frozen and taken to the probate court for verification and settlement.
So let me define a little bit. So your property is registered on the county basis. So if you, for example, live in Baltimore County and you have another property in Howard County or another county, and for God's sake anything happens and somebody passes away, the probate need to be filed in every single county. And based on every single county has different bylaws, it can take between minimum about 4 or 5 months, all the way to 1.5 years, and plus if the based on your complexity and how complex your state is. So that is what is probate, and the way to avoid it, it is basically optional. It is completely avoidable. We just have to plan it properly, and we can bypass the probate process. Yes.
We have also the family make a will after the death.
You cannot make a will after the death. You have
No,
to
before.
Yes.
Before the death, you make a will. There is another people make a
trust.
trust.
Yes.
So
I will go through all those.
And what is the difference between will and trust?
I will tell you. Yeah, we are. I'm going to give you definition after, inshallah, after the session. You will know what documents are there, what need to be done, what does what. Not just trust and will. There's power of attorney, advanced medical directive, deeds and everything. We will go through every single scenario. So the process of probate, they collect information. They also put a 3 months timeline. So if there's any creditors or any claims against your property, they can come and they can put a claim against your property. So that's why it needs to be properly protected and need to be taken care of it. And it is not that if you do not have any process, then you have to go through this process because they have to take a deceased person's name out of the property assets. It creates unnecessary problems, delays, fees, and publicity. So if you have assets, everything is a public information. They usually believe on a bill. Bill is not confidential. They have to disclose the bill to the public. What is the state? The state have your business, your jewelry, your cars, your property, your savings, digital assets, as well as checking savings or insurance or whatever. Everything falls into your state. The state planning process is basically, comprehensive organizing every single document needed for the family, have everything, a plan of action. If we design a business, we also have to have a bylaws of who we're going to run the business. So the whole process of state planning is that if anything happened to me, who can the family continue, what they need to be, and who they will protect it. So it is a comprehensive process of organizing and structuring individuals' asset and financial affairs. So the main goals of succession planning: number one, protecting your spouse and children, protecting your inheritance, provide disability planning. So if somebody falls in, they become incapacitated, if they are in a disabled or long-term care scenario, they need to have a plan who they can be utilized and who they can be protected. Reduce disagreements and continue asset management. Few mistakes that we've seen that need to be avoided. Number one, there's no plan at all. Number two, if somebody downloads the documents form from online and say, this is my complete documents, every family have a different scenario, and we cannot just have a cookie cutter sheet that, A, B, C, and everything is taken care of. So, okay, so what makes this Islamic? What is the benefit of utilizing Islamic law into the estate planning, and what is required to make it Islamic? So the main purpose is that ensuring your wealth is distributed according to. Thank you so much. Thank you. When you are extra, then you have to take care of everything. So the Islamic, the main purpose is ensuring your wealth is distributed as Allah commanded. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have, there's, about 57 times that we have to do salah, we have to do zakah, we have to do everything. But there's only one place that Allah says that if you do this, and if you follow Allah's commandment, Allah gave you glad tidings of paradise. And if you don't do it, Allah gave you punishment of hellfire. I will go through further. So this is a very, very important topic that we always ignore and delay, and we do not, protect our asset properly. So specializing approach, ensuring the distributed according to Sharia law, protecting your legacy, avoid leaving loved ones unvulnerable to lengthy disputes and legal uncertainty. Islamic state planning ensures Sharia compliance, avoid probate, prevent family dispute, and also Sadaqah Jariyah. This masjid is a wonderful place. We want to grow it, and one of the best way to grow if we put it as a Sadaqah Jariyah in our will or trust. If you have a 5%, 10% donation going to this masjid, and it's called planned giving, and that can continue this center for longevity. So in Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the concept of if anybody have a minor children, anybody knows? Yeah. So the whole concept of guidance planning and state planning for the minor children. In Surah Nisa, Ayah 5, Allah says, "Do not entrust incapable among you, your dependents, with your wealth that which Allah has made and being and sport for you, but feed them, clothe them, and from it speak to them kindly." So there's two scenarios. If somebody have any child or anybody who's special needs, they have any medical scenario, they cannot handle any of those day-to-day living, and they need to be taken care of. They fall in this category as well as the minor children. So we need to have a state planning on both scenarios. And the second ayah says that, "And test the orphans until they reach a marriageable age. Then, if you perceive them sound judgment, release their property to them, and do not consume it exclusively and quickly, anticipating that they will grow up. And whoever is a self-sufficient should refrain from taking fees from a fee, and whoever is poor, they can let them take according to acceptable. Then, when you release the property to them, bring the witness to them upon them, and sufficient is Allah as accounted." So, if we look at it, this ayah, this is Quran from Surah Nisa, ayah 6, that the whole transaction, not just when we do dealing, how can we transfer the asset to an orphan or people who are mentally incapable, and what need to be done. We need to have witnesses, and we cannot spend it quickly. That my nephew or my son or my whoever is an orphan, they're gonna grow up fast. So let's spend all their assets, and they're not gonna have anything when they reach marriageable age. So in the Quran, where the will comes in Surah Baqarah, Ayah 180, Allah says, "It is prescribed that when death approaches any of you, if they leave something of value, a will should be made in the favor of parents, immediate family members, with a fairness, and this is an obligation on those who are mindful of Allah." So this is an obligation on every single Muslim who is living here, regardless anywhere. And this is a order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you have to have your Islamic state planning or your will. If you have something to will, you should have a will ready. And Surah Nisa, a lot of people ask us, "Oh, I don't have anything to give. I only have, one checking account, one house or something." But Surah Nisa, Ayah 7, Allah says that for man there's a share whatever the parents and closest relative leave, and the woman there's a share whatever their parents and closest relative leave, whether it is a little or much. This is the obligatory share. So whatever you have, it's not that I'm going to be a billionaire or multimillionaire before I need to have a proper plan. And everybody knows this hadith, they seen it, they read it, but still very few people follow it. Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar says that Prophet Muhammad said, "It is not permissible for a Muslim to have something to will, to stay for 2 nights without having the last will and testament ready." And also the 1/3 scenario, where does the 1/3 came the Sharia, the distribution, if somebody can give a gift or anything, a charity. So Hazrat Sa'ad was not feeling well. Prophet Muhammad went to visit them, and Prophet Muhammad was asked that, "Oh Allah's Messenger, I only have daughters. Can I give 100% of my wealth to my charities?" And they said, "No, it's not permissible." "And how about 2/3, half of it?" They say, "No, it's not permissible." And they say, "How about 1/3 of my asset? Can I give that to the charity?" They say, "Yes, you can give it, but it is better for you to leave your dependent and beneficiary wealthy than they be asking, favors and help from other people." So it's optional, but the maximum you can give is 1/3.
What is the division of the son and daughter?
Son will get 2 times as the daughter. No, 1/3 is only for the charity. Or if you have a son, your brother is not your beneficiary. But if your brother is in a state or sister is in a state that they need help, then you can leave them up maximum up to 1/3 to them or any other family members. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's appropriate question now, but I will ask it. In the will,
Yes.
is it okay with the Islamic Sharia? I want to give equal the boy and the girl like the boy.
You can give it whatever you want, but that's not according to Sharia, and that's not according to.
But that's in a will.
In the will,
Still, I am alive.
you are alive.
Yeah.
That's a different things.
Yeah.
There's two things that giving a gift to anybody you want, or giving a varasa. When you're making a will, that is upon your death, whatever your asset need to be distributed according to your laws, right? So if you want to give something, your daughter something, you need to transfer it to her while you're alive.
Transfer it for writing.
No, when you write
Has to
it,
be transferred completely.
has to be given to her name while you're alive.
My kids will kill their boys.
Why they gonna? So if they're gonna kill you, then they're gonna receive
No,
that.
I want to equal.
Don't tell them, just transfer.
Yeah. Because the inheritance, when you receive inheritance, if you want to receive and if you follow the Sharia law, if you do not want to follow, you can do whatever you want. So the goal is like even if you live for 200 years here, at the end of the day, we want to, we are going away from this world, and the biggest thing we want to do is end up in Jannah. So if we follow Allah's commandment and distribute our asset according to Allah's order, then we have a glad tidings.
Therefore, what you are saying is, give it to her as a gift.
Yes.
Okay.
There's no limit on giving a gift to your children or anybody else while you are alive.
Okay. No limit.
Yeah, but only one thing: do not do it like this. I have about 5 houses, and I don't like one of my son. I'm gonna give everything to my daughter or somebody else, so he doesn't receive when I die. So you have to be mindful. You have to be reasonable that when you're taking care of something.
So what is the after the death? After the death, what is the sharing with your son?
So after the death, the son will get the 2 times the share as your daughter. So when if you have a son, you do not have any beneficiary from your brothers and sisters. If you have parents, they are your beneficiary, your spouse is beneficiary, and the children's beneficiary. So everything need to be calculated accordingly, and then they have to be distributed. But at the end of the day, son will get double as a daughter. And do you know why?
Yeah.
Anybody know? Do you know?
The daughter gets the benefit from the father, and when the father died, she gets the benefit from the son and her husband, but the son can get only one time.
No, another thing though. Then, yes.
So the responsibility of the son is more than the daughter because she has to take care of so many things after he has a family, he has to support the wife. So in the inheritance he gets one time, but the rest of his life he has to take care of so many. It's pretty Islamic.
Close, both are close, but the basic thing is if father died, the responsibility falls on the son to take care of his sister and his mother, right? So the distribution for the daughter, the son does not have any rights, but the sister still have a right on a brother to take care of it. So that's why the son received but double the share to take care of everything.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where does it say it's the responsibility of the son to take care of the mother and the daughter?
So this is it doesn't say anywhere,
Right.
but it's not required. But as a Islamic or cultural value, we are perceived to whoever is taking care of it. My father died. My mother was, she was.
I understand, but it's not Islamic. It's not in Quran or Sunnah. It's not Islamic. It's culture.
But still, the concept is why the son is receiving double the share.
No, the concept is not that. I just asked that, where does it say that after the father dies, the son is responsible?
It doesn't say anywhere.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't say anywhere.
It's not either
Like,
Quran or Sunnah.
Yeah, like it says, like the same thing when when we talk about Sunnah, that 1/3 is optional. But when we talk about a lot of other scholars, they say you have to give out, what is it? The 1/3 has to be given, but it is optional. So certain things, you are right. That it doesn't say anywhere the son is responsible for everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The whole distribution is in Surah Nisa, ayah 11 and 12. So Allah starts with the Yusikumullah fi awladikum. Allah commands you regarding your children. And at the end, as a personally, if I have a son who's 5 years old, and my father who's 60 years old or 70 years old, technically I will think that, my father already left his life. Why don't I give everything to my son? He need, I'm taking care of it or whatever. But Allah says in, at the end of this, that your parents and your children, be fair to your parents and your children. You do not know who is more beneficial to you, and this is an obligation from Allah.
It is mandatory 2/3 and 1/3.
What?
Islamic.
What do you mean?
That 2/3 son and 1/3 daughter is a mandatory by Islam.
No, it's not 2/3 or 1/3. Mandatory, according to the Islamic law, your son will get the 2 times the share of the,
And 1/3.
No, 1/3, but it's at the half of the share. So because when you take 1/3 or 2/3, you also have to, that's 100% of your shares. But you also have your spouse, your wife. You also have a different siblings, the kids, right? So if you only have a son and daughter, your wife will receive, and a wife will receive about 1/8, about 12.5%, and rest will be distributed if you do not have any sadaqah jariyah or anything. The rest will be distributed in both children.
Suppose it is
Yes.
it's not mandatory, but can you give more to anybody else?
Like what?
Like, say, half daughter or half son, or something like that. Or if you don't give anything to son, you give the whole share to somebody.
In your life, like we talked about earlier, so if you are taking care of, if you are giving a gift, I have 2 sons and a daughter, right? I cannot give everything to my daughter, saying that, I do not want to give anything to my son. You have to be logical and you have to be reasonable. You cannot deprive anybody from your assets. And, you cannot say that, we cannot change our own. We have to, the submission of Allah, whatever Allah command us, we have to follow that. If you bring in a logical that, 1/3 and everybody is equal, logic does not fit in the submission. So we have to follow as is prescribed, as it's ordered in Quran. Brother, what's your question was?
So the state is divided between the kids.
Yes.
Let's say brothers and sisters. The sisters are already been taking care of everything. And one person gets the problem. Now, if the brother can give the share to the sister.
Yeah. Yes, you have a good question. So we're talking
So
about
she
your children.
she already got the inheritance from the father.
Yeah.
She's paid off.
Yes.
But if one brother gets all the share and he wants to give it to the sister,
Yes.
can logically or Islamically,
Islamically, you can do that because once they already received,
right?
right? So you have children, son and daughter, and let's say you have one daughter who's not financially stable, and then son say, I want to give my shares, or I'm settled, alhamdulillah, I'm okay, I'm going to receive. And if he's not married, if he's married, then that shares also belong to his wife and his children as well. But he have to discuss with them that, I'm giving percentage to my sister.
Whatever it
Yeah.
is, everything is settled.
Yeah.
But the brother can give a share to the sister.
Absolutely.
Even he take care of everybody.
Absolutely, because this is a gift, hiba, that anybody can give a gift of anything to anybody after he fully received it.
This is the main concept. Whatever you do, always have it in writing, because if you do not have it written in writing, with your signature and with your witnesses
And notary.
and notary, anybody, even a family member, can turn around and challenge it there, whether it's a halal or not.
See,
Can challenge them.
yeah,
I've seen this happen numerous times.
I went beyond this to ayah, but in ayah 180 of 181, Allah says in Quran that whoever changes the will after hearing it, the blame will only be on those who made the change indeed. And Allah is all hearing and all knowing. So if somebody sees the will, it's already in Quran. So like, you buy your Mercedes or Lexus car, you cannot use the manual of Ford. You has to use the manual of the same manufacturer. So Allah created us, and all the menu is already Quran. So Ayah 181 says that if you already see, you cannot change it. And the second, 182, if you see that if your father or grandfather made a mistake on it, or did non-Islamically, Allah gave you permission that whoever suspect an error and adjust it in the will and bring it about a fair settlement among the parties will not be sinful. Surely Allah is all forgiving and most merciful.
So it can be contested, but then again, in contesting, there's got to be proof that the person writing the will, they have to prove that they were not in the right state of mind when they
Yes. So that's why when we contest, we also have to have an affidavit of well-being from the approval. Also, when we do a non-contest clause in the will, that they cannot contest the will in a court. Let's say if you give a Sharia distribution and daughter goes into the court that I do not want to accept this, but you want to have a proper distribution according to Islamic laws, then you can put a clause in the will that if she contested, she can lose the will. So there's a non-contest clause in the will and the trust. Okay. All right.
So we'll take the question line until you finish, and then you can continue.
Okay. Don't get beat up. So again, the both distribution, and this is the golden decade. تلك حدود الله من يطع الله ورسوله يدخل جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها وذلك الفوز العظيم. And these are the limits set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger will be admitted by Him into the garden of paradise, under which river flow abiding entirely therein, and this is a great attainment. So when we think about, I want to change, I want to do anything, and I want to equalize, or this is a benefit of being a submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala according to the Quran and according to the Sunnah. And second, the kind of hammer, whoever disobey Allah and His Messenger and transgress His limits will be He will put him into the fire, abiding entirely therein, and he will be having a humiliating punishment. So this is a concept of Islamic State Planning, and why we want to have best possible scenario. There's a giveaway, but the main thing is we want to distribute our asset as we are ordered by the Quran. And this is a hadith Prophet Muhammad says that whoever try to avoid giving inheritance to heirs, Allah will deprive him of his inheritance in paradise on the day of resurrection. So when we go in the back scenario, when I talk about the scenario that there's 4 daughters, but the beneficiaries are only brothers, so he want to deprive anything to the daughters. So this is unacceptable in Islam. We have assessment. If somebody wants to take assessment that hosts their estate planning right now, I bet you when you go through it's about 20 questions, but when we take assessment, they will ask you certain questions that let you know where's your drawbacks and where's your, what subject or what topics that you need to be focused on.
Can you keep the slide so people can take?
I'm sorry?
Can you keep the slide?
Yeah, sure.
Taken Islamic law, if they go to because this is USA, they go to the court with the USA law. How USA law and the judgment can...
Remember I talk about
if somebody goes Islamic law, and judge doesn't know what is the Islamic law, 1/3 or cash or gift.
Yeah, remember we spent 2 years researching. That's what we researched before we implemented it. American law does not care who gets what. If you have a cat, you can give everything to the cat.
Right.
Right? You can give anything,
yes.
Right? And but there's bylaws how you have to give it to distribution. It has to be written, it has to be notarized, it has to be taken care of properly, right? But the Islamic law requires you to give according to the Sharia distribution. And when you match both of them, we do not have to tell the judge that this is a Sharia compliant or Sharia law or anything. we implement the Islamic distribution in a will and a trust. They have to distribute according to your wishes. So there's no conflict.
So your paper will show this when you get shot.
Yeah, percentage of fractions.
Then you have to make will and trust before you die.
Absolutely. That's what we are talking about.
But otherwise, a lot of people, they don't make will and trust. They don't know what is will. They don't know what is trust.
How many people have a trust and how many people have a will here? One,
Just the
two,
will.
three. Just the will?
Just the will.
Okay. So
A lot of people, they don't know trust. But they don't know the difference.
Yes.
So what happened to them?
well, that's why we are here to educate them.
Sir,
Yes. Yes.
if you divide your assets among your children
Yes.
in joint account, do
Okay.
you need to do a will while you are alive?
So joint account, we had a scenario recently in Baltimore County. Brother died, his son and him was on the joint account, and he said, I want to add my mother into it. And I told him not to do it. Just go ahead and handle everything on the funeral. He takes his mother, go to Wells Fargo, tell them that I want to add the mother into the account. And they say, where's your father? He said, I just buried him. So they say, all right, we're going to we're going to seal your account until you go to the court, get the letter of executor, then we transfer everything to your mom and yourself. If the scenario comes in, as soon somebody passed away, legally, the banks, they have to control all the assets to wait until the whole process of probate and all, whoever is the property beneficiary, they go through and they have a distribution. So sometimes it is a beneficial to have somebody on it. The main benefit is that the funeral is expensive, so they need the money right away. So they can access those funds without telling the bank account that somebody passed away, and that can be taken care of it. As soon the bank will know, the account is sealed.
Thank you.
You are. Yes.
Just a clarification. If you have knowledge, you let us know. If you don't, then please. I heard that in your life you can dispose of or you can do anything, then all your assets.
Yes.
But if you heard that today that I have a cancer and I have 3 months left or 6 months left or some other kind of, you are not authorized to do or to distribute all your assets before when you never know that. You're okay, you're healthy, everything's fine. But when you hear this news, you cannot do it. Is that right or wrong?
Let me add something more on it. So if you do transfer those assets upon your sickness, or if you are well and you transfer your asset and right after you become sick, there's a 5-year look back period for the bylaws. So anything you transfer before last 5 years to any beneficiary, they can tell you to revoke and bring it back, and there can be claims on it. So that's bylaws on the financial point of view. We didn't even talk about the long-term care. Long-term care, if somebody falls in the long-term care scenario and they have an asset, they can tell you to sell your asset to use the money to take care of you. If you're not dependent on the Medicaid. If Medicaid is taking care of you, then as soon the asset transfer to the wife, and from wife to the children, they will put a claim against your asset to receive the money they have paid for your long-term care from the Medicaid. Which Virginia is very notorious. Maryland is still there, but they can put a claim against and they want to receive the money they already paid for you. So it is better to do it as soon as possible and have a proper distribution and proper structure.
My question is purely under Sharia.
Under Sharia, you can give in your lifetime. Absolutely, you decide the shares. Whatever is your son, whatever is your daughter, whatever is your wife, you can give them the distribution in your lifetime, and at the time of the death, whatever is, you minimize everything. So same concept is in a trust. So when you transfer everything to the trust, you are minimizing your own personal assets on your name, and then the trust owns the property. But you are right, you can transfer according to Sharia and American laws, but you have to be careful on the 5-year look back.
So my basic question was not this. My basic question is, if you are healthy, you can do it. But if you came to know that you are going to die of cancer or anything, then you cannot do it.
Yeah,
is that right?
No, even you're healthy, you do it everything today. and next year, you got sickness and you are in the system. So bylaws is 5-year look back period. You go back 5 years, then last 5 years, what did you do? So it doesn't mean that, when you are sick that you cannot do it. If you do it and then you become sick, it's the same rule on that also.
What is 5 years?
What 5 year look back?
My question is, what is the Sharia?
So, sir, you are confusing both different things. Sharia is different. The American law is different.
I'm asking only Sharia.
Sharia doesn't care when you give anything to anybody. So you can give when at the time of when you have a cancer or for God's anything happen, you can still give a benefit to your family.
Even on your deathbed.
Even on your deathbed, before your deathbed, and you have to. The only thing you have to focus the distribution according to Sharia.
Thank you.
You mean that even if I write it in their name, but stock market equity or funds or something of that sort, still it goes back 5 years?
Everything, if you fall in medical scenario, these are the bylaws of long-term care.
Yeah.
When you know what's long-term care?
No.
Long-term care is when you cannot take care of yourself and you have to have a nurse came to your home or you are dependent on assisted living home. If you have a stroke or heart attack or something, so when you qualify for the long-term care planning from the state, they look back 5 years that what did you have the asset within 5 years? Did you have a lot of assets that you distribute to hide and be dependent on the state? So long-term is like when you are sick and when you have to take it. Sister, anybody have a question from that side?
Yeah, I think what I got from all this is that under the bylaws, they can come after your will and trust, even if it's made according to Sharia law, and take, no?
Like what bylaws they want to come after?
The bylaws for long-term care.
Okay.
You say today you are healthy and you have a child, you have a son, you have a daughter, and you have a wife, and you've distributed your property according to your will and your trust. And tomorrow you came to know that you became sick, and you can change it, right? First of all, you can change it. But then again, if you need long-term care, then long-term care will try and get money from your will or trust.
No,
Than unpaid money. That is what I was trying to understand.
Yeah, if you have a will, then the assets are still under your name.
Right.
Right? Will does not hold any assets. If you have a trust and the trust is done 5 years before, by 5 years before you got sick, they cannot come after that trust as well.
Oh, you can.
Right? So I do a trust today. Anything happened to me 6 years later, the state cannot come and say that, oh, bring back your property and
okay.
All right, there's a 5-year time that they can do it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Can I add to that? The only way that they wouldn't come and look at what you have done with the 5-year look back is if you don't go back to government for
benefits. Yeah, we are
long-term care.
No.
So also,
do that.
If you don't do that, they won't do that.
Yeah. So we do like retirement planning, and retirement planning when we look at everything that you need to have a long-term care and what are you prepared for, how you gonna fund it. You're gonna either fund it with your out of pocket, or you're gonna fund it through your asset. You're gonna fund it with the long-term care insurance, which is recommended by Social Security as well, or you're gonna fund it with any other funds. If you do not have anything, then you are dependent on a state. And for state to qualify you, they have to go through all your assets for last 5 years.
If you sign within the 5 years, it has to be after 5 years, correct?
After 5 years.
Within 5 years, then you can obtain nothing. The state can come.
State can come and state, when you file the qualifications, they look back 5 years at within last 5 years, what did you do? Yeah. So let's go back on this one. So the order of distribution of asset, number 1, funeral and burial expenses. Debt, if somebody have any debt, that need to be taken care of. Wasiyyah, 1/3. So if you are giving to a charity or Sadaqah Jariyah or anybody of your family members or somebody, any percentage that need to be taken care. Then the distribution of your Sharia to your families comes in. These are the
Excuse me, in all of this, we've just talked about distribution to children, male children, female children, and all that. What about the wife?
She doesn't get anything. Man, see those sisters over there? Don't get me beat up on them. So the wife have a shares. We'll go and explain on that as well. Wife is receiving 1/8 Islamically, but she's also, if she's a guardian, if she have a minor children, she can also take care of and receive from the children as well.
She can take from both sides and give it to the children.
Yes, because remember the ayah I talk about that if it's a guardian and they need to take care of themselves, Islamically wife is getting only 12.5%, right? And the son is getting, children are getting 90, whatever the 88% or 87.5%. And if wife need to take care of those kids, she's going to use that money to take care of them.
Now, what about if they are divorced, right?
Yeah.
But the husband didn't get remarried before he died.
Okay. So if you are divorced, then she's not your wife anymore. No. Right? Divorce in Islam does not receive any continuation or any distribution. We had somebody, last week we did a seminar in Shariah Masjid, and somebody went to Imam and said that Brother Yasir said that after divorce, the wife can receive 100% of the shares from the. I said, brother, please. We didn't even talk about divorce last week. But when you have a divorce, even she have a children, she does not receive anything from the husband Islamically. Only children are the beneficiary of that husband. If husband have 2 wives, then they both are beneficiary of 1/8.
If it is joint account, husband and wife.
Yes.
Then how can you distribute?
So
joint
account in a ownership of house or anything.
Owner of the house.
Yeah. So that means she's owner of 50%.
And the account on the
everything.
Money at 50%.
Yeah.
Now how do you distribute it to the children?
Then whatever's the rest of the 50%, that need to be distributed.
She can sign anything.
Yeah. Because if I add my wife to my property, I choose to do that. Even though mortgage is on me or I'm paying for it and everything, then I allow her to be on the on the deed. So if I gave her the property, half property is under her name, then she is a half owner of the property.
That's US law.
US law. And Islamically, because I gave her, I choose her to do it. Islamically, if I do not have her in it, I'm not required to put her Islamically or US law into in a property, right? So then she only received the percentage. Yes.
How are the assets are all LLC? How do you distribute that?
LLC is a different scenario. It's a corporation.
How do you distribute the LLC?
I will tell you. Let me go through a little bit, and then I will share that. It's a good question. I know the answer. I'm not running away.
No. I have a few questions when you finish.
Yeah. Not just who the distribution asset, who have the control of your LLC after you die. So if you have after you're gone, right? Before you have the control, but after you are gone, that is a big issue. Remember we talked about Brother Said, the business succession planning. They did not do it. So I will bring documents included. So these are living will and testament, lost will and testament, durable power of attorney, advanced medical directive, and living trust in most cases. These are the documentations that need to be held. All right, so lost will and testament does 3 things. Number 1, the most important thing is guardianship for the children, even they are minor or they are medically inclined or have a special needs. Number 2, the most important thing, it chooses an executor who deals with the courthouse and who's gave a permission to go handle all the financials. Number 3, it does distribution if you're only using the will, the distribution of your asset upon your wishes. Second document, advanced medical directive. It takes care of your medical scenario So if you are in a hospital, who takes care of you, what kind of treatment you need, what kind of treatment you're gonna get, and who can manage your health care. Autopsies, organ donations, all those complicated matters that goes in there that if you want to refuse, you can tell them. And the most important thing, Islamic burial. So if somebody passed away, we need to have an Islamic burial process. So even you are traveling out of state, anything happens, this document should be in your medical record. They need to be pulled out and they need to follow the Islamic burial system. Then durable power of attorney. That gives another agent or your family member ability to manage all your financial affairs. So these days, the biggest issue we are seeing if somebody travels out of country and they got hold back or they have an issue on the back and forth on the immigration. So somebody need to have full power and authority to manage your financial affairs while here. Not just that, if somebody is incapacitated, they are in a hospital, anything happen, second person can manage and take care of all their assets. Every document is color coded. These are the basic documents. I just put it. My cell phone number is on every single document. We have received calls at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately, death doesn't have a schedule, so the family need to be have somebody to contact and need help. So let me actually go through. All right, so the main components of a will, it has to be legal age, capacity. The person who's writing it, the testor, must be in a full sound mind. So nobody can be, they are Alzheimer's or something, and nobody can just go and make a will. Writing it should be written and witnessed and notarized. Some people say, oh, but if I write my will holographically, if I write on a hand, and there could be a lot of mistake on distribution, and a lot of states are rejecting that concept. So they want to have a proper will that is written, notarized, signature, and witness. Has to have an opening statement that I, Yasir Zia, resident of Anne Arundel County, Maryland, declare this is my will. And at least one beneficiary. So the beneficiary has to be on it to make it legally valid according to the American laws. So the conflict, we talk about, 1/3 are the conflict between Islamic law and state law. So if somebody have a wife who are not Muslim, non-Muslim children's parents, if somebody accepted Islam and the parents haven't accepted, adopted children's in-laws, any step relationship, all those, and also the convicted murder of the testor. So if the son unfortunately killed his father, he's absolutely out of the inheritance. Or if somebody leaves Islam, they cannot receive any benefits. So in other scenarios, if you want, the 1/3 can be given to any of those in-laws or the wife or the parents who are non-Muslims. They can be given a gift from the 1/3 section. Without a lost will, state follows by its laws. It can take as long as possible, average about 6 months to 1 year plus. They follow their own law that wife receive everything, our children are they're not receiving any distribution. Non-Muslim becomes entitled. So if somebody the parents are non-Muslim, they can also become son and daughter. There's no distribution according to the Sharia law. And also probate. They will appoint an executor. Executor alone will charge a 10% fees according to your assets to be executor for your state. And you cannot have a sadqa jariya. And most important, Uncle Sam also becomes your relative. We talk about financial power of attorney, financial power of attorney, medical directive. Alright, so living revocable trust. There's two kind of trust. Irrevocable and revocable. Irrevocable is used in an asset if you have beyond $30 million, or if you have asset level or something that you want to take it out of your state as a LLC or as a business entity by itself, that controls your asset. Once you transfer any asset to irrevocable trust, you lose a control over it. Nobody can access it. Only your beneficiary and your trustee can manage and take care of it. But majority of the cases we use a revocable living trust. So while you are living, you can have a full control of your asset. You can have a full authority. You can change, you can manage, you can update, you can buy, sell anything, and it is avoiding probate completely. Once you set up a trust, all the assets need to be retitled to it. So even husband owns a house, or husband and wife owns a house, whatever the scenario, we have to retitle the deed with the county to transfer it to the trust. This is a basic difference between will and trust. So if we talk about will, the probate process, public disclosure, also a lot of emotions. So example, point of view, the husband who deals with everything, he passed away. The wife know how to deal with all the courthouses and all the scenario and everything. So it is a maximum pain on top of all the situation that they already lost a loved one. So it is better to have a proper structure in place based on your personal situation that we have. As for the living trust, no attorneys involved, no court control, no probate, no hassles. Everything is in confidential. The trust is held by the property, so nobody knows where is all the information and everything. So it's very discreet and very controlled by the family. And there's also the contest. You can put the bylaws that nobody can contest that the trust.
That's a revocable trust.
Yeah, that's a revocable.
That's a revocable trust. That you have a control of everything.
I'm sorry?
That you have a control of everything.
Yes, you have a full control. You can avoid probate. You can avoid everything. You can have a proper structure. And also, if you have your assets, instead of there's two scenarios to transfer your asset to the family. So we talk about let's say if we gave everything to our children while we are alive. So let's say you bought a house for $100,000, for example. You can't buy it anymore. But now the house value $1 million. So there's a capital gain of $900,000. So if you put a son on the title and our daughter, whoever's, so anything happen, they will receive a capital gain tax on that half of the earning of that property. So let's say $450,000, 25% of the capital gain tax they need to be paid. But if same scenario, if you put the house to the trust, they receive it as a inheritance. There's no tax on that on a capital gain because they're receiving a step-up basis. They're receiving a property as $1 million or whatever. And plus, if they are in a divorce scenario, unfortunately, it's a big common issue right now. If they have a property under their name and they fall into divorce, that property also can be jeopardized in a divorce proceeding, and the wife or distribution or whatever they need to be done. But if the property is under the trust, it protects from any creditors, any claims, any divorce from anybody. Yeah. And let me add one more thing. And also, we also seeing a scenario that spouses of the children are telling the mother that, if the house is big or something, why don't you distribute our assets and go live on the assisted living home or smaller house. So if that scenario, we can put a bylaws in the trust that as long as she's living, she can stay in that house and she can take care of before. When she passed away, then the property can be disposed of.
So I have a question.
Trust. If a person is alive, he can do anything like himself.
Absolutely.
Change.
Yes.
And suppose the revocable trust is on LLC.
No.
The property.
No, you cannot have the revocable trust under LLC. You can have a LLC under the trust.
LLC under revocable trust.
Yes. So there's two different things on the LLC. Since you brought it, just give me a second. So if, for example, if you're a doctor, right, or medical scenario are high vulnerable for lawsuits, then you need to have a LLC control and avoid probate, but has to have a connection between the trust that nobody can touch. So in that scenario, if you are high vulnerable on the lawsuit wise, then we use an assignment of interest to the trust. So there's a contract, you made a contract that whatever interest you have in that LLC, that will be transferred to the trust upon your death. That avoids probate. But if as everything is simple, you just have a business, your house and everything, then you put a trust as a member of that LLC. So whoever's the next trustee, they can step in and they can manage, they can take care of your asset right away. So just give me a second, sister.
So going back to the scenario where, say a property, husband, wife's name, they put it in a trust. So that will be retitled, that deed book to the trust. Now once that property, you said, is given to a child, the capital gains tax will be...
There's no capital gains tax if you receive from the trust.
If you receive from the trust. So once the child receives that property then, so how is that property on that child's name then? Or that property was in the trust name?
There's a both scenario. You can have the property under the trust. Trustee can manage it, right? So let's say if you have a children who are minor and you do not want to, or they are in a college or something, you do not want to hand over the full assets to them, then you can have the property under the trust. Whoever's the next trustee, they will manage and take care of it. And if it's, for example, rental property and they're receiving income, they can distribute to the children that rental income through the trust.
And if it's adult children,
then you can, if they want to receive the property out, we have multiple scenarios that a father want to hold the property under the trust and have a distribution and grow. Or if you see that, if they're adults, if they're okay, they have no financial issue or there is no any medical or any other unfortunate, addictions or anything, then you can, if they want to receive it, they can receive as an inheritance.
And it goes back in their name.
Absolutely, in their name. Okay. And on top of it, when you receive an inheritance, as long as below $5 million in state of Maryland, there's no inheritance tax. State of Maryland have a $5 million threshold, and federally is about $15 million. Yes.
So what will be the state of Maryland tax? Like 7.5%?
16%.
16%.
Yes, and beyond $15 million, the federal is 40%.
40.
Yes. So let's say if you have beyond $15 million, there's a federal tax on $15 million, which is whatever's amount. But anything above $5 million, you're going to be paying 16% state tax.
5 million, no tax.
Under 5 million, no inheritance tax. But there's a state tax, there's a death tax, there's a lot of other things. Yes.
Everything is okay because I have a trust. I can manage everything. After my death,
whoever's the next trustee, if your wife or your children or whoever, there's two things. One is trustee, one is beneficiary. Beneficiary can be anybody, but you want to choose a trustee who's capable of managing and taking care of. Right? What's your question? Yes, sir.
So what are the major difference of trust and the wills in the process, and when we can start the process?
Yeah, we can help you set up a trust. Trust takes a little bit longer because average trust will create about 50-60 pages are known by some. Distribution is only 2 paragraphs. That my son is getting this. But the bylaws, like what happens if husband and wife both at the same time? What happens if there's a scenario 1 comes, scenario 2 comes? So we have to have all the control based on your family needs. The will is very simple process. It can take less than a week to complete the whole process. Inshallah, we can have a one-on-one session to go through it. What's your question?
Well, the concept of inheritance taxes, suppose I leave, let's say, $10 million or a big chunk of the life insurance policy to my beneficiary. Would that
don't talk about life insurance. I already got beat up.
Yeah, I know. I understand. So the concept of life insurance can be, let's suppose you have a life insurance policy. Insurance policy there. That's not subject to tax, right?
Yeah. So if you have a life insurance of $10 million, we will design an irrevocable life insurance trust to keep it away from your estate, to pay the beneficiary and everything. So you avoid for that large amount, you do not there's no inheritance tax, there's no anything, because that irrevocable trust have its own tax ID. It's an entity by itself. Right? But there's no income tax on the life insurance because it's a death benefit as well.
The state doesn't come with a trust, right?
I'm sorry?
State doesn't involve if you have a irrevocable trust.
Unless if you committed a crime, the state need to be involved after that. So
No, state doesn't come.
yeah. So
No, my question is this: a lot of time you die because hey,
you only die once. You cannot die a lot of time.
No, the thing is when you die, when you die, and then you have a trust, irrevocable trust. And with that trust, whether how it's set up, the state doesn't come.
No. There's no interference from anybody. Your family have the full bylaws. You have the control. We can design a trust based on your wishes and your goals, while following all the Islamic laws. So everything has the state doesn't have any concern on that.
It is better just whatever you have to give as a gift, you finish.
Do you need me to sign up somewhere?
Yes.
So far, what you have said is that trust is better than
Trust is always better. We did a seminar in Bel Air, and we had a brother who was brother said about wife, one of his what shares getting. So brother was like keep on asking question about wife shares, what is our scenario A, scenario B, scenario C. Like after like 7, 8 questions, I said, brother, are you married? He say no. I said, brother, you go marry first, then come. I saw him in the IGNA convention. So my wife was there and he passed Islam alaikum. I said, brother, did you get married yet? He said, no.
He was preparing himself.
That's the reason he's not married.
Yeah, you are right. So, but some scenario, we look at every person have its own different, family needs, requirements that need to be taken care of. When we look at it, when we do a planning for the client, we need to look at it, all the vulnerabilities and where is, how can we make our client a bulletproof. So if they have a long-term care scenario, we look at it. If they have a retirement scenario, we also look at it. What is the option, what needs to be done, and how can be taken care of.
So like property, if someone has a property, the basis, let's say the house, someone bought it for 300,000.
Yeah.
And it is worth $1 million.
Yes.
And if it is in the trust, the basis will be, what would be the basis? Will jump up to whatever the value is?
Whatever the current value at the time of the distribution.
Okay.
That is one of the biggest benefit because the capital gain tax in Maryland is 25%. Right? So if
16% you just said.
No, 16% is inheritance tax.
Okay.
The capital gain is a gift tax, which is 25%.
And the limit is $5 million.
So $5 million, under $5 million, there's no inheritance tax. But capital gain is different. So if you have $1 million property and you give it to your son and there's a $300,000 of profit, they still have to pay 25% of the capital gain of that 300,000. But inheritance, if you have under $5 million and somebody inherits, they don't pay any tax on it.
So at that point, they can sell or do whatever.
They can do everything.
They'll have a zero tax, so basically capital.
There's no capital, there's multiple taxes. So there's no capital gain, inheritance, and also if there's seed income, it's an ordinary income tax to them.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's also a different scenario that we have. The way, and also another thing, if there's multiple properties, and a person have like their main asset, their main house, the other, we just went to a client, he have 10 different properties. So his primary resident is one he lives and everything is the rental. So we move all those properties into LLCs. So if there's any lawsuit in that property, it doesn't conflict the whole state plan.
Because you're talking about trust, right?
Yes.
But if there's a lawsuit like lead paint or something, then they can.
So that's why when rental property, you have to control it under LLC. So basically, unless if you have a lot of properties, but you can group 3, 4 based on whatever is your threshold for maximum exposure. So if there's one property, ideally one property should go in there in the LLC. So if there's any lawsuit that happens in that, the state to that LLC. And if it's somebody's investor, buy, flip, and fix and flip. So we design or we help them set up a Wyoming LLC or Wyoming Corporation, and that Wyoming Corporation owns a LLC in Maryland that does all the ownership of the property and then his disposal. Wyoming is only state in Maryland in America who does not disclose your personal information to anybody. So you can hire an agent in Wyoming. They can set up your corporation. That corporation can own a secondary corporation that owns any asset. And once you sell, once property is sold, then you can close that LLC. So there's no lawsuit coming out. Yeah, we can do as many. There's basically, we have a client up to 25 properties. We have a client, one house is $30-40 million.
You could be sued that goes to one LLC got 10 properties, whole 10 properties.
Yes. So basically, when we look at it and based on exposure, then we have to design a plan. We suggest you should have this in one LLC, or you have a multiple. Sometimes Maryland costs you $330 a year for the personal property tax on every single LLC.
Yes.
Does it make it justifiable to have 10 LLCs, or have a?
Mostly it's 10 property, one LLC. If you sued one LLC, they take the whole 10 properties or one property?
No, that goes under the LLC. That sues on the lawsuit is under LLC.
10 property involved.
Yes. So anything under the LLC, that could be exposure to the lawsuit. No questions. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, Allah, prepared me for this, and we've been doing research. So hopefully we can answer. If we don't know the answer, we can find it.
No, that's fine. You did a good job. You did a good job. A lot of people.
So this is our Zoom currently, meeting point of view. If somebody wants to schedule a Zoom call consultation, they can schedule it by scanning it, and there's no cost for the consultation. We go through one-on-one individually. That what is your personal scenario, what do you want to do, and then we go. Yes.
Has to be Zoom. Can come to the office.
We can come all the way office. We can do in-house. Anything that you want. Basically, if we do a Zoom call, that is better for us, that we can manage more clients instead of traveling a lot. So first call usually require that let's do a Zoom to figure out a plan that what we need and who we need and what's the next step to move on.
Okay.
I will have a card and everything done somewhere. And this is basically just give me some. This is this is our phone number, my email address, and sorry, these are.
Go back.
Okay.
We can post this information on the chat.
Okay. And I don't need that testimony. He's the best testimony. Any other questions?
No. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Did I bore you guys a lot, or?
No.
That's a very important lot of
Did I scare you a lot?
I mean, you work all your life, and then you'll come get 15%, 40%.
I started. I told you that I work as a financial consultant or financial planner. So when we was in New York Life, and our managers say everybody need a life insurance, tell me that at least once in their life. So
No, I mean, you work all your life here, and you pay federal taxes, state taxes,
absolutely.
medical.
There's a death
And when
tax.
you die, they will come 40.
There's a death tax that you need, but we can help you with it.
Did everybody sign the sign-in sheet?